So you spent the last 22 months in a chrysalis of sorts and woke up to realize that not only is it 2019 already, but you've grown these wings and other questionable appendages. Rawr, look, I'm one of them Charlotte's Webs. And that Quackstack's YouTube's channel's only digression is the fact that its Divinity builds never covered Metamorphs. Well, you're in luck because retirement is over and a change is upon us. Grab that horny bull by the balls and let's get started. Wait, that doesn't sound right. So what is a polymorph? Simply put, it's an assistive skill for the game called Divinity Original Sin 2. This is a very special skill, though, as it works quite a bit differently than the other skills. But that I mean that it's probably one of the worst skills in the game by itself. If you're expecting to turn into magical beasts and things by dumping points into it like those old book Sandomorphs, well, you're sorta correct. What you get somewhat is a mishmash of seemingly random unrelated abilities that don't really complement each other. For example, you'd think a polymorph Wonder Twin would be mage-based, right? The ability to transform into an ice unicycle would constitute as magical. But Divinity thinks otherwise. Literally, any spell that does damage scales off of strength. This fact alone defeats any roleplayish aspects in my opinion. Not only that, but there's a total of 4 direct damaging spells in this tree, and some skills block other skills from use. You won't even be able to use bullhorns with Medusa's noggin, as I guess both alter the head, and the game thinks you only have one of those, even if you're a male character. But some of these can absolutely complement any style of character you could possibly roll. That's why I see the entirety of the skill in a more of a support enhancing role, which explains why you get a whole attribute point for free just by putting in an ability point. Rogues get cloak, warriors get an armor buff, and even the Japanese get tentacles. But I'll save the ability discussion for the skills part of the video. Just like a hat telling a cape, you hang back while I go on ahead and tell you everything you need about the polymorph tree. As with all first impressions, it's the part where we talk about race, and it's meaningless in this context. I personally believe the elf is the most OP race there is, absolutely nothing that even comes close to having 1 free AP and 10% damage boost that would even let me consider anything otherwise, even with the newly buffed human. But it doesn't matter, since adding polymorph to a character doesn't break no matter who you choose. Just don't choose dwarf. They end up coming up short of expectations. Oh, I guess that's it, so the skills part of the video is now. Okay, let's break down every skill in this blasted skill tree, as it contains 17 whole skills. Wait, 19. So in the first tier skills, we got Bullhorns, Chicken Claw, Tentacle Ash, and Chameleon Cloak. Bullhorns is a skill. It's pretty cool. I heavily undervalued the skill initially because I thought of it as just a worse version of Battering Ram, which is found in the Warfare tree. They're practically the same, with the only difference being that Bull Rush causes bleed while Battering Ram does a knockdown, which is a much superior effect. But Bull Rush comes with the perk that you can cast it every turn, so you have a decent mobility attack that's up constantly to reposition and do some damage. Plus 5% retribution. Might not seem like much, especially because of the high health your opponents have versus how much damage they deal, but yeah, it's as useless as you think. Chicken Claw, oh man, okay, this skill is hilarious. You'll literally make a chicken out of your opponent. I believe, even though I haven't even played this game in like a year, this is the only CC that lasts 2 turns. Of course, it's balanced by the fact that you have to be pretty much kissing the enemy must not have any physical armor, and it only targets one person. An amazing interaction with this is by using Ruptured Tendons on a person you're going to chickenify. They will naturally try to save their own nuggets and run away from you, killing themselves. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Like the afterlife, get it? So Tentacle Lash. Okay, another quirk with the polymorph skills compared to the other skills, the fact that the damaging spells that you do scales with level and strength as opposed to wherever your weapon damage is. This results in these skills doing less damage than a basic attack or similar other class skills. Not only do you have to max your gains with strength pumping, it can't crit or be boosted by crit modifiers of any sort. Thankfully, it cannot miss because it is considered a spell and Warfare boosts its damage. I don't suggest getting the skill, so don't be a sucker, or 50. Other than that, what's cracking? Chameleon Cloak. This is basically the oh shit, I probably shouldn't be here button. Invisibility is extremely powerful in this game. It renders your character practically invincible, as enemies will not target you at all since they'll just assume you disappeared. Just like a millennial opening up a savings account, there will be nothing to see there. Fair warning though, you'll still take damage from poison and that burning fire you probably are standing underneath, because this is Divinity after all, and everything is always on fire. If you're being surrounded, pop the skill, wait about 5 karmas, and give him that chameleon. Moving on to the tier 2 skills. Heart of Steel is a skill. Yeah, I said it. It's kind of like a worse version of Fortify, mainly because it gives less armor initially, and to make use of the regeneration, you have to get hit for the armor to wear off, and it costs 2 AP. If you really do not want to get a Geomancer points, then I guess you should get it. But it's really bad and situational in my humble opinion. There's a misnomer that it scales with Geomancer. Okay, technically, it only scales with level. It's just Geomancer buffs anything that gives you armor. It's a very slight, important difference there. Spread your wings. Okay, you literally grow wings out of your back and float everywhere. Like, how cool is that? Immunity to ground terrain is awesome, as well as the ability to fly anywhere in the map. The skill is buggy though. For example, if water terrain is electrified and you go over it, you will still get shocked. If your character has their tendons ruptured, you will also take damage. Attacks of opportunity will not trigger though when you're flying, which is a good way to disengage and get out of there when the going gets tough. Spider legs. Okay, good old spider legs. Spider legs. Do whatever with 6 spider legs. A very underrated skill. Not only do you grow 6 arms, okay, this completely annoys me. You don't even walk with using the supposed legs that you grew. But you get the ability to spew a mysterious liquid at foes, which stops them dead to rights. It even works through physical and magical armor, meaning that stained, man. Combine this with teleporting and nether swapping people, and you just started tapping into skills that CC enemies without having to do damage to them first. Terrain transmutation. Okay, this skill really belongs in a farming simulator when you want to move crops around. Basically, you swap the environmental status effect of 2 areas. Essentially worthless, that is unless you have some lava or necrofire laying around, then you win the encounter automatically. Very good skill to have for safe scumming and knowing what the environment is going to be like that's coming up ahead. AKA using tactics and strategy. Medusa head. Okay, snakes grow out of your head, making you look like Medusa. At first I thought the skill was fairly terrible. It costs 2 AP to activate, another 2 AP to cast a petrifying visage spell on your enemies. But that's because I didn't think about the aura. If you get the skill on a melee fighter that's in the thick of the fight and the enemies lose their magic protection, bam, they are automatically petrified just from you standing by them. You also can be creative with the skill. Cast Medusa head, then go invisible. Any enemy that walks by you, even though you're invisible, will also get petrified due to the magic trumping logic in this case. Now, no one will be able to take you for granted. Summon Oily Blob. Okay, don't get it. It sucks. Have the trust. If you want a good summon, then spec into the summoning tree. The incarnates will even scale with summoning level. This oily blob is worthless and just more often than not causes you to be perpetually even more on fire than before. And even I didn't think that would be possible. And the poly blob only scales off of summoning level. Just stop. The flaming, icy, poisonous jellyfish, whatever skins. Okay, if I had to decide what the most worthless skills in the entire game were, it would probably be these. They use a source point, only last 2 turns, take up 2 freaking memory slots, and the benefits are useless in 99% of the situations. You're better off just using your precious source on actually good skills. The skin grift. Okay, this guy, or girl, can break the entire game for you. It's basically a reset button for your hotbar, resetting all of your cooldowns. Get this thing ASAP. It makes comboing with adrenaline and AoE source skills absolutely terrifying. Yes, you heard that right. You can use adrenaline, then other skills, cast skin graft, then use adrenaline again, followed by more skills. It gets even better when you get to apotheosis, but more than that later. Forced exchange. Exchanges vitality percentages with the enemy. Okay, you heard that right. The key here being percentage. You're able to cheese, or use tactics, as previously discussed, to defeat bosses or any high health enemies with ease. Makes the troll fights that you encounter an absolute joke if you can get them to hit you low enough. Be mindful though, it is resisted by armor, strangely enough. Equalize. This is the kind of skill that is really fun in the D&D sense because it sounds so epic and requires hard math, but in practice it's pretty meh. Having your stats redistributed will never really buff or restore your party by how much you want it to, since enemies usually have way higher armor and health values than you do, and healing yourself casting restore armor will probably be more beneficial. If you're fighting a boss, then focusing on one of the minions and teleporting them next to the boss, then casting the spell can work. That's a lot of prep work to damage the boss, and you didn't really cause any damage because all you did was redistribute the health and armor, not chip some away. So in the end, you pretty much have to do the same amount of damage that you previously would have had to before to finish the encounter. Basically, TLDR, YMMV. Flay Skin. If you're running a physical fighter, this is the skill to get to help your mages in the backline deal CC to your enemies. As a melee or physical attacking tool, you deal exclusively almost physical damage, which makes sense, so it's nice to have some way of peeling the magic armor off of people. Plus, pairs well with rogues and chloroform. Apotheosis. This is the true godhood spell of the game, reduces all source skills by 3 points. This makes you be able to spam skin grafts, arrow storms, and other godly powers to absolutely destroy the battlefield. I can't emphasize enough how brokenly amazing this skill is when you have the right combination and plan down. game becomes a one-turn stomp fest. How can it be this broken when it costs so much AP and source, you ask? It actually comes in a scroll form. All scrolls only cost 1 AP to use, and you don't even have to spend your source points to use it. A nice hasted Adrenaline Ranger makes quick work of most encounters. TLDL, final thoughts. Wow, I finally got through all these skills. The general consensus is if you're melee, this is the tree for you. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother until very late in the game. So, if you're melee, grab Bullhorns, Chicken Claw, Chameleon Cloak, Medusa's Head, Spider Legs, Skin Graft, and Apotheosis. Okay, that's a tall order. These skills will make any character an absolute wrecking machine. Okay, geez, if it was really this simple, why the f did this video take 10 minutes? Thanks for watching. It's been a while. Hopefully you caught at least 10 puns and laughed at some of them. If not, then I guess no pun intended. I'll see you in the next one. Losa, you can't have both spider legs and wings? Okay, don't worry. You'll always be able to spread your legs and fly off with a rich businessman if this adventure doesn't work out for us. Is anyone gonna catch the Karma Chameleon reference? I know I wouldn't.